Hey YouTube, it's Tyler the Antenna Man. Today I'm going to test out and review this Antop omnidirectional antenna. It seems to promise a lot of features compared to a regular directional antenna. Features such as 360 degree or 720 degree direction, since you can technically point it this way, a built-in amplifier, an LTE filter. A lot of people are naturally drawn to omnidirectional antennas for two main reasons. The first reason is that since omnidirectional antennas accept signals from all directions, you don't have to get up on the roof and be adjusting this antenna, moving it a little bit, and most people don't use a portable tuner on the roof anyway when installing an antenna. So it's kind of like a thing where a lot of antennas, people think that they have to constantly adjust them. Another reason why people are drawn to omnidirectional antennas is because they may have transmitters in their area in different locations. For example, they may have some stations that come in from the south, but then they may have stations that come in from the southwest, or they may be in between two major markets to the point that they want both stations from the one market and the other that come from complete opposite directions. I'll let you know if an omnidirectional antenna is going to work for you in this situation. Understand that most TV stations do not broadcast on the channel number they identify as. For example, in New York, if you see CBS 2, NBC 4, Fox 5, none of them broadcast on the VHF band. So if you're thinking that I need an antenna that has low VHF capability because I have a channel 2 or channel 3 in my area, understand that most stations do not broadcast on the channel they identify as. To find out what channels your local TV stations are broadcasting on, go to antennaweb.org, type in your address, and look for the RF channel number. The virtual channel is a channel that the station identifies as. So in my market, NBC 28 WBRE. But the RF channel is the channel that they broadcast on. Just like the rest of my antennas you've seen on my channel, I will take this antenna outside, mount it on a pole in my backyard, and show you the various signal strengths on different TV stations in my area. I have both UHF and VHF stations that are about 45 miles from my location. Here's a chart of the last two antennas that I tested out on my YouTube channel, along with the TV stations and their signal strengths. You can also find the results of dozens of other antennas that I've tested out in the past by checking out my other videos on my YouTube channel. The signal strength on WNEP was definitely lower than most directional antennas that I've tested out in the past. Most times omnidirectional antennas don't pick up signals as well as directional antennas. The same holds true for WYU, which broadcasts on VHF channel 13. I wasn't able to lock in a picture with this antenna. I tried repositioning the antenna a little bit and got a few pixels here and there, but nothing really watchable. It doesn't surprise me because this antenna doesn't really have a good VHF element on it. The signal strength on WBRE, which broadcasts on VHF channel 11, was also significantly lower with this antenna. It was able to produce a picture at around 42%, but it was showing significant breakup and it wasn't really much of a watchable signal. Again, this omnidirectional antenna definitely lacks a good VHF element. The signal strength on Fox 56 was also lower at around 62%. At least it was able to produce a picture. I was not able to lock in Fox 29's low-powered repeater station with this antenna. I did try to move the antenna around, hoping that maybe this wasn't a true omnidirectional antenna, maybe it would get more gain in a certain direction, but I could not get any sort of picture. The signal strength on WNJB was about the same on this antenna compared to other small directional antennas that I've tested out. Pretty surprised about this because I didn't even think it would pick up the station at all, since I had trouble with several other stations in my market. So as you can see from my tests, this antenna is definitely an omnidirectional antenna. It picks up stations equally from all directions, no matter how I rotate it. But the flaw is that it has trouble picking up very weak TV stations, and this can be said for nearly all omnidirectional antennas. For the most part, I'd recommend this antenna for people with an RV, people who are in the position where they can't get out and go on top of their RV when traveling to position a directional antenna in the direction of the broadcast towers where they probably don't know where that direction is. But if you live at home and you're looking for an antenna, I highly recommend a directional antenna. So that way you can pick up some of those weaker stations that an omnidirectional antenna would have trouble with. Some of you are probably saying, well, I have signals from different directions. I definitely need an omnidirectional antenna, because if I get a directional antenna and point it in one direction, it's not going to get the signals from another direction. This is a myth that I want to expel. Directional antennas can pick up stations in all directions, but they usually have kind of a pattern where they can pick up very weak signals in a specific direction. So for example, if you live between a few stations and you point a directional antenna towards the weaker stations, it will likely pick up the stronger stations from the side or the back. It's not like a one and done thing where you're going to point an antenna in one direction, you're not going to get anything from a different direction. Now, if you live directly in between two major markets and you want every station from each market, an omnidirectional antenna may or may not work for you depending on the signal strengths. As I said, it doesn't pick up weak stations that well, but I typically recommend a directional antenna pointed towards the major market stations of your choice. Most times your local ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox affiliate come from one main direction, and when you use an omnidirectional antenna, you're just sacrificing your reception for what usually is duplicate programming from out-of-market NBC, ABC, and CBS affiliates. Once again, I'd recommend this antenna for people with an RV or people who are directly between two markets with decent signal strengths. If you have very weak signals, blue and purple on antennaweb.org, this antenna might not have enough muscle on the bone. But for the rest of you, this antenna may be an option. Thanks again for watching my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more antenna reviews and other cord cutting related information, and have an awesome day.